If we say parabola, it is the set of all points in a plane that are equidistant from a fixed line called the directrix, and a fixed point of the plane known as the focus. But in this lesson, we are going to focus on how to transform an equation of a parabola from general form to standard form, and we will identify the vertex and the axis of symmetry of each parabola. So let's have an example. So before we have our example, so the general formula of a parabola is y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. So this is the general formula, and then the general form, and then the standard form or the vertex form of a parabola is y is equal to a quantity x minus h squared plus k. So aside from that is the standard form, that is also called the vertex form. So from general form, we will translate it to standard form, and we will identify the vertex and the axis of symmetry. So in the past lesson, if this is the Cartesian plane, x and y, for example, this is a given graph. If we say axis of symmetry, this is the line that cuts the parabola into two equal parts, or the line perpendicular to the x-axis or the y-axis, depending on the opening of the parabola. It can be opens upward, downward, or sideward. It can be to left or to right. But in this example, we are going to focus on the most common parabola, which opens upward or downward. Example number 1. So I will just write the standard form. So y is equal to a quantity x minus h squared plus k. So from general form, we're going to translate it to standard form, because in standard form, we can easily identify the vertex. So if we say vertex, to find the vertex, that is h, k. So in this form, we can easily identify h and k. So that is our vertex. And then for the axis of symmetry, so that is just simply the value of h. Example number 1. If the given equation is y is equal to 2, quantity x plus 2 squared minus 3, you will notice that this equation is already in standard form, where 2 is the value of a, and negative 2 is the value of h, and negative 3 is the value of k. So we can easily identify h and k. So para dun sa mga nahihirapan ma-identify ang vertex, i-check nyo lang yung part na to. So kung sa circle, parehas natin binabago yung sign ng h and k, dito sa parabola, babaguhin lang natin yung sign ng h. If this is positive 2, so we will just change it to negative 2. But the value of k remains. Kung minus 3 to, so that is negative 3. So this will be our vertex. So that is how to identify the vertex. So negative 2 and negative 3. Next, axis of symmetry. So sabi natin kanina, that is the value of h. So here our h is negative 2. So axis of symmetry is 2. So we're done with the vertex and the axis of symmetry. Again, the vertex is equal to h and k. So h, we just change the sign from positive 2, so plus 2, so it will become negative 2. And then minus 3, as is lang siya, gawin lang natin sign yung operation. So magiging negative 3 siya. So that is the value of our vertex. And then for axis of symmetry, that is just simply the value of our h. Another example, y is equal to x squared plus 8x plus 17. So if you notice, this is not in standard form or the vertex form. So that's why we cannot easily find the value of the vertex or h and k, because we are not in this format or in this form. So we're going to translate, and if you noticed also, this form is in general form. So from general form, we're going to translate it to standard form. How? So first, we have to divide all terms by the coefficient of the first term, or the term with second degree. But since the coefficient of the term with second degree is 1, so kahit hindi na natin siya i-divide. So ganyan lang siya. Second step, ihiwalay natin yung may variable. X squared plus 8x dito sa constant term plus 17. And then, let's make it a perfect square trinomial. So mag-a-add tayo dito. And since nag-add tayo dito and they are on the same side of equal sign, para silang nasa right hand side, to make the equation balance, kung nag-add tayo dito, magsasubtract naman tayo dito. Next, so ano ngayon yung idadagdag natin para maging perfect square trinomial? Ito. So we just look for the second term, the coefficient of the second term. So here, the coefficient is 8. So we will just divide it by 2 and then multiply by itself. Divide by 2 and then we have to multiply the answer by itself. So we just copy x squared and 8x and then plus. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. And then 4 multiplied by 4 is 16. So it means the third term is 16. So this is now a perfect square trinomial. And then we just copy plus 17 and then minus 16. So since we add 16 here, we will subtract 16 here. Next, so let's change it, the perfect square trinomial, in this form. So shortcut na natin. Gawin lang nating x, kopyahin lang natin yung variable lagay natin, and then yung square lagay natin sa labas. And then ano yung ilalagay natin dito? We just divide the second term 8 by 2. So 8 divided by 2 is 4. Tama? So ayun lang yun. So positive 4, so plus 4. So ayan na yan. Yung perfect square trinomial, eto na siya ngayon. So that is a shortcut. And then, i-compute na natin to. 17 minus 6 is positive 1. So if you have noticed, we are already in this form. So a 1 and then x plus minus positive 4 square plus a. So it means the vertex is, again, this part, babaguhin natin ng sign. Instead of positive 4, that is negative 4. And then the value of A is the same. So if that is plus 1, that is positive 1. So the vertex is negative 4 and 1. And then the axis of symmetry is negative 4. So that is example number 2. Next example number 3. So ayan. Y is equal to 2x squared minus 12x plus 26. So actually there are different methods on how to translate it to this form. Or I think we can translate it in other way to identify the vertex. But if we are going to find the vertex, so maybe hindi natin makikita yung A. Magkakaroon tayo ng difference sa A if we use another method. Kung ang concern lang natin is to find the vertex and the axis of symmetry. So, first step, kung ano yung coefficient ni variable with degree 2, so i-divide natin all terms by coefficient niya. So dito, ito yung x or yung variable na may degree 2 at ang katabi niya ay 2. So we will divide all terms by 2. Though this is not the right process, but this is a shortcut to identify the vertex and axis of symmetry. So after dividing all terms by 2, makakancel na to. So it becomes x squared, and the negative 12x divided by 2 is negative 6x, and then 26 divided by 2 is positive 13. So na-reduce na natin siya. So dito, ganun ulit yung gagawin natin. Y is equal to x squared minus 6x. So we will make it a perfect square trinomial by adding a third term. And then we will just copy plus 13. And then since we add a number here, we will subtract the same number here. And then x squared minus 6x, we just copy that. And then plus, so what will be the third term? So that is completing the square. So negative 6 divided by 2 is negative 3. Negative 3 multiplied by negative 3 is 9. So that will be our third term. Plus 13 minus, so we add 9 here, we will subtract 9 here. Okay. So this is already a perfect square trinomial. So we will translate it to this form. So again, madali lang siya. So wala kayong open close parenthesis. Sulat nyo yung variable na ginamit. Ilagay nyo yung square or yung exponent sa labas. And then, para malaman natin kung ilalagay dito, i-divide lang natin yung second term by 2. Negative 6 divided by 2. So that's negative 3. So ito nga yun siya. Dito siya. Ito yung nalabasan niya. And then, we will just perform 13 minus 9. So that is positive 4. So here, teka lang, parang 26, 13. Ay, okay. So tama lang. So 13 minus 9 is equal to 4. Then So to identify the vertex, so we will just copy here and then change sign. Instead of negative 3, that is positive 3. And then here, the answer is 4. But in this case, this is not simply 4. Because on the first step, we divide all terms by the coefficient of the exponent of the term with exponent 2. So instead of simply writing 4, we will multiply it by dito sa dinivide natin kanina, sa pinang-divide natin kanina. So 4 multiplied by 2 is 8. So that will be our k. So kung nag-divide tayo dito kanina, i-multiply natin yung sagot natin sa k dito. So the vertex is 3 and 8. And then the axis of symmetry is positive 3. Okay. Another example. So gawin lang natin yung kanina para merong number 4. Y is equal to negative 2x squared minus 12x plus 26. So this is the same. This is just the same with the third example. I just changed it to negative. So from positive, I change it to negative 2. So again, we will divide all terms by the coefficient of the term with exponent 2. So ito yung exponent 2. So negative 2 ang katabi niya. So i-divide natin all terms by negative 2. Kasi ang target natin ay maging x squared lang siya. So cancel natin to. So matitira ay x squared. And then negative 12x divided by negative 2 is positive 6x. And then positive 26 minus 2 divided by 2, negative 2 is negative 13. So perfect square trinomial, x squared plus 6x plus 3 divided by 2, 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 multiplied by 3 is 9. Minus 13 minus 9. Nag-add tayo dito ng 9, so we will subtract 9 here. And then, kunin natin to, x, labas natin square. 6 divided by 2 is positive 3, so plus 3. And then, negative 3 minus 9 is negative 22. So here, the vertex is negative 3, so we change positive 3 to negative 3. And then the value of k is negative 22, but we will multiply it by negative 2. So the answer is positive 44. So the vertex is negative 3 and 44. And then the axis of symmetry is negative 3. So that is how to identify the vertex and axis of symmetry given the equation either general form or standard form of a parabola.